Exciting one today, but today we're going to be talking about the good, the bad, the ugly, the pros and the cons of living in Davis, California.
Let's check it out.
What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. We're Lance and Lauren with L2 Home Group. We're gonna be covering some of the pros and cons if you're considering moving, relocating, or living in Davis, California. Davis is considered to be one of the top suburbs outside of Sacramento.
So today we're going to be covering the pros and cons of Davis, California, but make sure you stick around until the very end because we're going to be sharing with you one of the cons and one of the things that we absolutely can't stand about Davis. All right, so the very first pro on our list for Davis, California is going to be the education here. Now the education here is outstanding from elementary through high school all the way up to the university that's here. All right, now Davis is definitely a smaller community compared to some of the other areas that we have covered on this channel, but the schools here are great. Now, the first one we're gonna highlight is gonna be Davis Senior High School, which is the main high school in Davis, California, and it ranks an 8 out of 10 overall on greatschools.org.
This high school is also going to have awesome athletic programs. Now, granted, it's the only high school in Davis, but it has a really good football program, really good water polo program. They usually have a stellar cross country and track and field program. So the cool thing about Davis is that, you know, being that it's your only high school in Davis, it's great public education, and it's also going to have some highly rated athletic programs that are also going to get your student athlete noticed if that's a route that they want to go as well.
Yep, so Davis is a Division I school, and Davis does compete against a lot of the schools or the areas that we've done other videos on. So Davis's main competitor when it comes to like water polo or track or even football is going to be Granite Bay High School, which is another Division I school. They also compete against Folsom. So even though they're on the other side of Sacramento, you still see these schools still go back and forth with the whole Sac Metro area. The junior high school, Oliver Wendell Holmes Junior High School, also rates an 8 out of 10 overall on greatschools.org, as does one of the elementary schools, Willett Elementary School, 8 out of 10 overall. So you definitely get great public education here if your kids are in those ages and you're looking at being in Davis, California. Now
there are some charter schools if you do want to have your student go that route. The main charter school here is going to be Da Vinci Charter School. That's going to be grades 7 through 12, and that school is going to be ranked a 9 out of 10 based off of greatschools.org.
Now, we can't talk about education in Davis and not talk about UC Davis. So UC Davis is going to be the main draw to this city. It's kind of located in the center of Davis. Now, UC Davis offers great education. It's not an easy school to get into, but they are ranked nationally #1 for agricultural sciences as well as veterinary medicine. So if that's something that your kiddo or your student or even you decide to study, UC Davis might be the right place for you.
Plus, this school also has pretty good rivalry with Sac State for the Causeway Classic, so that's always a good football game to go check out. That one happens every year, and there's usually massive amounts of college students that either show up here for Davis or show up at Sac State, and it's usually always a blast to see that type of like college rivalry between these two schools. But Davis, California is definitely going to be a college town. You know, almost 50% of the residents are either going to be new or existing or returning students that are going to be comprised of the population of Davis that's going to make up like 67,000 people or whatever. So this is definitely a college town, definitely a super fun place to send your student, and it's got a great education. So the next pro on our list for Davis, California is going to be the proximity to Sacramento, California. So Davis was ranked the top suburb to live outside of Sacramento based off of niche.com. So Davis is going to be located about 15 miles west of Sacramento, which is also going to give you, much more of a diverse option as it relates to your employment opportunities, your entertainment options. So with Sacramento being the state capital, you're going to have tons of different opportunities for jobs as it relates to the state sector or the health sector, being that it's right across the causeway. And you're going to also have access to all the entertainment and all the nightlife and everything that Sacramento has to offer for being the capital of California. So you're going to have Sacramento Kings games, you're going to have the Sacramento Republic, you're going to have Sacramento River Cats games, plus you're going to have all that type of nightlife in that downtown in relationship to what you would experience if you were in Davis.
So the next pro on our list for Davis is going to be the community events and the cultural activities that happen in this city. So Davis is known for its close-knit community feel, where residents really feel welcomed and invited through a lot of the different events that the overall city puts on. They've got the picnic day that the university puts on, which really brings together students and community members. It's a giant day that they do at the park. which is really awesome. They also do a huge 4th of July celebration, which happens at this park right here behind us. They've got live music, they've got food trucks, different vendors that'll come out, and then they'll do a really awesome fireworks show. That's the 4th of July. And then they also do a really cool Christmas celebration that's in downtown, where they do a candlelit parade where they'll have floats, they'll have different cars that'll decorate for Christmas, and then people will walk in the parade throwing candy to the people watching. That's a candlelit walk, and then at the end of the parade they do a big tree lighting, which kind of starts and kicks off the holiday season for Davis.
Probably the last thing that they do that's really awesome that kind of creates that community feel is going to be the Davis Neighborhood Night Out, and that's all kind of designed in the same kind of concept to, you know, it's almost like a giant town block party where everybody's out, everybody's getting to know your neighbors. So definitely much more of that kind of community feel as it relates to, you know, getting to know your neighbors, getting to know the new students, getting to know the returning students that are coming back. So that happens in October. That's a super fun event that really kind of unifies the town right going into the holiday season.
And then another thing that Davis is known for is the Mondavi Center. So the Mondavi Center is a cultural performing arts center that I want to say they built 10-15 years ago. Now this performing arts center is huge. You've got different theatrical performances that'll happen. They'll do different
jazz performances.
Comedians will come here.
So before we jump into our next pro, if you're digging this information, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. We are dropping new videos every Tuesday and Friday on what it's like to live in Sacramento and the surrounding areas like Davis, Granite Bay, Folsom, Elk Grove, El Dorado Hills, and everything else in between. So if you're digging that information, hit that like and subscribe button. As much as we love making these videos, we also love helping you more with all of your real estate needs. So there should be a phone number popping up. We do answer every phone call, email, and text message. We love it when you guys reach out to us, connect with us, book a Zoom call with us, so that way we can design and develop a plan that will be right for you and your move to the greater Sacramento area.
All right, now the next pro on our list is going to be that Davis is bicycle friendly. So you may not know, but Davis is known as the bicycle capital
of the United States.
Yep, that's what he said. You know, one of the awesome things is that if you're sending your college kid here, or if you're here,
you don't even need to send a car, just send them with a bike.
Just send them with a bike. Even on the way when we were driving here to film this video, we saw multiple people, you know, actually using the bike lanes. Good job, not using sidewalks. And then also, you know, legit bicyclers, they're using the right hand motions for turning. So if you are a driver on the road, you actually know where these people are going. But you definitely will see bicyclists on the road getting to and from places in Davis.
Yeah, so the cool thing about Davis is they've done a really good job with obviously the bike lanes, but then they've just done a great job with like all the different trails and everything that kind of interconnects the city together. So, you know, yes, you obviously have your bike lanes on the main roads, but you also have all these other side trails and things where bicyclists can survive in this community if you never had a car. So that's also a really cool thing, is like, you never even need to have a car if you plan on living in Davis, unless you wanted to go into Sacramento for whatever reason. Like, you can pretty much survive here on a bicycle alone.
And it saves you on gas.
Yes, and it saves you on gas. So our last pro before we start jumping into our cons is going to be the weather here. Now this one can definitely be a pro or a con, depending on the person that you're talking to or the audience that's listening to this. But Davis has 4 absolutely beautiful seasons. We have very mild winters, so we have rain in the wintertime, but it doesn't get super snowy here. It doesn't get super cold to where you get these like massive freezes or like things that you saw in like the South, like Texas or anything. So we have pretty mild winters, just rain. Our spring and our fall are absolutely gorgeous. It's usually my two favorite times of the year. Fall, you start to see all the colors in the trees change. Spring just kind of gets you ready for summertime with, you know, beautiful 75 to 80 degree weather. The last season being summertime. Now this one could be a con depending on who you are, depending on the person, and that'll kind of lead us into our cons. But you know, a con for Davis can also be the heat here. So, you know, Sacramento or the greater Sacramento region that includes Davis, I believe last year we recorded 40 plus days of 100 degree plus temperatures, which can be kind of miserable. It is a hot, dry heat, so it's not like you're dealing with massive humidity where you walk outside and it's like you're kind of being smacked in the face with a wet towel. But the heat can be a reason for people not to move here. If you're just not if you're not very heat adverse, then you may not want to live here. But that is going to lead us into our first con, which is going to be the heat. Now, our second con for Davis is going to be the affordability here. Now, Davis, like a lot of other communities, has an extremely high entry-level point. So just looking at the statistics from a couple months back, the average sold price in the month of April was just a little over 900 grand. So the entry point to purchase a home in Davis is going to be much higher than maybe, let's say, a neighboring county like Sacramento, where that number is in like the high fives, low sixes. And there's going to be a lot of competition here. So not just from people who are owner occupied who want to live in the actual house, but you also have these investors that are coming in here that are wanting to purchase property or single family homes or multifamily homes in the city of Davis because of UC Davis, being that the fact that they know that they're going to have consistent rents, they're going to have people that are constantly coming in, needing housing, needing some form of type of livability here. So that's also creating an affordability issue where, you know, the entry point or the average price point in Davis is going to be in the nines.
So the next con on our list is going to be a limited job market here. Now, with the UC Davis school here, as well as the schools inside of Davis, you are going to have, you know, education jobs here. You're also going to have a big research sector here with UC Davis and the science programs that are here. But if you're looking for other jobs, you'll probably have to travel outside of Davis to find them. Now, you do have Sacramento that's a short drive away where you can find government jobs, state jobs, healthcare jobs, all of those types of things. Now, or if you're working remote, then it doesn't really matter. Or if you have to travel down to the Bay Area, you're also close going the other way down towards the Bay.
So our next con on the list for pros and cons for living or moving or relocating to Davis is going to be a limited nightlife. So Davis, being the fact that it is a college town, it's going to be overall pretty quiet. The total town is just about 9, maybe 10 square miles. So it's not a very big town. And like we said, a lot of this town is comprised of the college-age students. But, you know, you do have some fun college bars. You do have some, you know, different events that you can do at the Mondavi Center. For the most part, a lot of your entertainment and a lot of your nightlife, you're probably going to want to drive into Sacramento for any of that stuff. If it's, you know, things that you would do with, you know, college-age kids, where you're going out to, you know, some of the popular bars like Wiki Bar or the other one that's very popular here. That could be one thing, but ultimately, for the most part, you know, Davis doesn't have a super thriving nightlife atmosphere for that. So, you know, just kind of keep that in mind if you're thinking about moving or relocating here. Now, we told you if you stuck around until the very end, we were going to give you our #1 con that we absolutely can't stand about Davis, and that's going to be traffic and congestion. So for a lot of people who live in Davis, you'll know this as you're driving into the greater Sacramento area. Davis is going to be that first town that you hit right before you get into Sacramento when you're coming over the causeway. So the causeway is this bridge that notoriously is known for bottlenecking. And so basically, no matter what time of day it is, the traffic is going to cause a backup on Interstate 80. And most of the time it goes through the entire town, and you'll see it when you're coming into Davis. So that's most likely, that's probably one of the biggest feedbacks or the biggest things that we absolutely hate, regardless if you live in Sacramento, if you live in Davis, if you live in any of the areas that are going to be east of Davis going up towards Lake Tahoe. That causeway bridge is going to cause a lot of bottlenecking no matter what time of day it is, and it's usually going to cause some type of massive traffic congestion. And then overall through the rest of the city, it's not too bad. There are certain times of the day where, you know, traffic can be a little bit worse than others, when schools are getting out or the college classes are getting out. But, you know, that's going to be probably one of our biggest pet peeves about Davis, is going to be just kind of like the traffic and congestion and all that, the different stuff that you would have to deal with.
Yeah, and if there's an accident on the causeway, you're going to be sitting for a while, because it's not an easy, the way that the roads are, it's not easy for medical personnel to get to it. So there have been times where there have been car accidents where it can take hours to get it cleared before you're actually able to trek across. So those don't happen every day, but it is something to be aware of.
Those are just some of our pros and cons, right? 5 pros, 5 cons. Some of them may not be very big deals for you. Some of them may be deal breakers for you, and you may not want to move here, relocate here. Or one of the things that we always like to do is we like to hop on phone calls or, you know, Zoom calls with you guys, get to know what your goals are. We have had some people that maybe not have relocated to Davis, but they're relocating to other parts of the greater Sacramento area because they have a student that's getting ready to attend UC Davis. So, you know, regardless of what your situation is, we would love to always hop on a phone call, Zoom call with you guys, get to know what your goals are, get to know what your game plan is, and figure out if we can help make that move a little bit easier. We are both licensed real estate agents in the state of California, which means is that as much as we love making these videos, we actually love helping you more with all of your real estate needs. So there should be a phone number popping up. We do answer every phone call, email, and text message, and we can't wait to help you out with your game plan as far as moving or relocating to Davis or the greater Sacramento area.